What's up guys, it's Redhawk and welcome to what I'm calling the Redhawk recap because I have no better alternative. If you want to suggest some names for the series, then let me know. I don't know. I don't know, Redhawk recap's kind of lame. But anyway, what this is it's going to be me kind of doing a general gloss over of each track that's been released in the last week and, you know, giving some opinions on it. You know, talking about some of the more interesting parts of the song. Something brief, it's not going to be too long hopefully, but the reason I'm doing this now is the new year started. Monstercat's now doing 4 releases a week with the whole Instinct Uncaged split thing. It's kind of weird, so I figured now's as good of a time as any to start this, and I don't think it should be spoiling too much. If you want to just skip this and just watch the ranking later, then go for it, but my opinions probably will change from here till then. Just because that has a tendency to happen. I mean, if you look at last year, when Borneo by Aerocord first came out, I didn't like it at all. And when Bone Dry by Tristram first came out, I couldn't stop listening to it. I thought it was great. And now, I mean, Bone Dry is still pretty good. I still like it, but I don't love it. And Borneo ends up making my top 10. So these snap reactions are not permanent. So it's kind of interesting to look back and see what they used to be. Because who knows, one of these 4 songs may change. For me, who knows. But anyway, let's dive into it with Sky is Falling by Darren Styles and Stonebank. So of course we're starting the year with happy hardcore. Apparently that has to happen every year now, and I can't say I'm necessarily complaining. I mean, we did get Stronger out of it. I didn't really care for Chiplander All Night, but Stronger is pretty great. But this is Darren Styles and Stonebank. Now, the first thing that came to my mind was, okay, they didn't do it under Zero Hero. Zero Hero is Stonebank and Darren Styles. They've released twice on this label. They've made a little bit of other stuff too, if I'm correct. I'm not sure. I haven't actually listened to it. Probably should. But it's, to my knowledge, that's more of a experimental alias, especially for Darren to just kind of do stuff other than happy hardcore, because he doesn't really do that much. And it's not a collab alias. Well, it is a collab alias. It's not an alias just to put their collabs under. It's, you know, this confirmation that's more of an experimental alias, because this isn't really experimental for either of them. And I'll single out Stonebank here, because 5 of his last 6 happy hardcore songs I haven't really cared for. So, you know, basically all of his happy hardcore songs dating back to All Night in 2016. Only one I can say I actually genuinely liked was Who's Got Your Love. And this has all the makings of, you know, one of his normal happy hardcore songs. You know, it's got ML vocals, it's got, you know, pretty quiet atmospheric off drop, it's got a pretty crazy drop with this larger than life lead, this ravey lead, and this ravey melody. So you're probably expecting me to say I don't really care for this, but I actually really like it. And again, I don't know if that's gonna last, but oh my goodness, I don't know if it's just a Stonebank Darren Styles thing. It's hard to say who did what in a collab like this, because Stonebank got so much of his influence from Darren Styles and from his style that it's hard to say who did what. It's hard to say if either of them did more than the other. It's hard to say if it's more in line with one of their styles than the others, because it's just so both of them. But whatever the case, they blend together. The melody is really interesting. It sort of like uses only half of the bar, only half of the measure. So the other half, where there's no melody, is just sort of empty. But I kind of like that. It creates a very like chaotic, panicked feel to the song, which is different than everything else is, because generally it's just happy, no thinking about it. But ML's vocals are incredible. It's the first time I've genuinely loved her vocals in a while, probably since at least Stronger, maybe Another Day. Another Day has some great vocals that never get talked about, but it's been a while since I've liked her vocals this much, but they work perfectly. The song is just, it's just a great cohesive song. My final score for it is a 9 out of 10. there's a little bit of wiggle room downwards. I don't think it'll probably get any higher than 9 out of 10, but I do really like this. Next up, we've got Ready to Fly by Didrick and Adam Young. Let's address the elephant in the room here. Adam Young, yes. Adam Young is Owl City, which is probably the biggest artist that's ever been on the label. I know, it feels like we always say that, and I know you could probably argue that Marshmello is bigger than Owl City ever was, but to me, personally, Fireflies was huge. Fireflies was everywhere when it came out. You couldn't escape it, and obviously it's a meme now, but I think it's a pretty incredible song. And they made some other really, I say they because it's like a band, but it's only one guy. He's made a bunch of other really good stuff under Owl City. But he's here. Didrick is returning for the first time. It's his first proper single because he did the remix with Fool of War as a collab, and he's got the 3-year anniversary, 5-year anniversary that he's probably more famous for. And all that was pretty cool, but we've never actually gotten like a legit single from him. So it's interesting that he does come to the label with this, and it's been in the works for a while. I think I saw it was like Adam Young was credited in this like back in 2013, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But the actual song itself, this is my view on it. So it's pretty slow, future based with not very much impact at all, which has all the makings of a song that I would hate, like a Circus or a Superhuman, something like that. But if you think of this as a pop song and not as a future based song, if you ignore what future bass can do with people like Grant or Subtact, Sanholo, Drulu, Duskus, etc. If you ignore what those people can do and you think of this as a pop song, it's really good. And it's got catchy melodies, the production stands out, and the vocals are just incredible. I don't know why, I just really, really like Adam Young's vocals and pretty much everything he's ever been in. Like his voice is just so distinct, but it works so well. And because of that, I'm giving this song right now a 9.5 out of 10. There's some wiggle room downwards. I could very easily see this being a bone dry where I just get sick of it at some point. But right now, I'm in love with this song. I think it's absolutely great. It probably won't be a 10 out of 10, so probably won't wiggle upwards too much, but I like this quite a bit. Now we got Champion Sound by Gent Jawns. Alright, so this is their second track. They had The Meaning, I think, in November of 2017. And I like it a fair amount. I don't think I've ever actually like said that on my channel, but I think it's a pretty good song. This is in a different direction though, whereas that was a very hybrid trap sounding song and like somewhat experimental at that. This is really weird. I don't know if it's rhythm or not because I'm terrible at telling between rhythm and bro step, but it's definitely edging that line. It's kind of like Swarm in a way, but Swarm is like pretty clearly bro step. I don't know if this is rhythm or not. Maybe like Navigator then. But I'm not 100% ready to say this is rhythm. But whatever the case, it's a style of dubstep I don't really like at all, and that's really unfortunate for this song because it does some interesting things. It's not just a horror show. The drop is very one note as always with this kind of music, but it's not terrible. The off drop is kind of cool. The Killa, I don't know what that reminds me of, but it's like very reggae-esque and it's pretty cool. But I don't know. When I listen to music for enjoyment, this is not gonna be the first thing that comes up. I'm gonna give this a 4.5 out of 10. It's got some wiggle room upwards, like Storm. Like Storm, when it first came out, it would have been a 4.5 for me. Now it's probably around a 6. There's maybe a slight bit of wiggle room downwards, but I totally respect this as a song. I totally respect anyone who likes this, obviously. But it's just really not for me. It's not catered to my taste at all. But before we move on, I just want to say, don't tell me this doesn't sound like Surface. Alright, finally we have Fortress by Rogue, the Friday release of the week. and it's a new style for Rogue. Rogue, you know, for the past 2 or 3 years has really made his money off of, you know, bangers mostly. I mean, last time Rogue has released a song that you could say wasn't a banger as far as originals go would be Night After Night, which was mid 2014, so it's been a while. Obviously it has Emoji remix, but yeah, this is somewhat in that style, but different because it's an original now. Now, I'm going to assume that a lot of people are going to be underwhelmed by this. I'm not really sure. I haven't really been paying too much attention. But I'd imagine that a lot of people are going to make a mistake here. That mistake being comparing this to his trap songs. Stuff like Rattlesnake or Nemesis, Ultimatum, Unity, Drive Away. Stuff that all, you know, for the most part, bangs, has really interesting sound design and, you know, those classic Rogue touches. This isn't that. If you judge this to the standard of those, then you're going to be disappointed, because there isn't really any sort of banger material here at all. This is, like I talked about with the Ready to Fly, this is, you know, a very poppy feature bass. It's not something that Grant would put out or Subtact would put out. Nothing like that. This is poppy future bass, and if you treat it like that, if you treat this like you would treat, say, anything on the Earth EP or Forever or Night After Night, if you do that, you're gonna be a lot less disappointed by this, because this is really cool. The vocals are almost always good from Rogue. I didn't care for them Through the Dark. Everything else, though, they've done pretty good. And I don't know why he's just got a great voice, in my opinion. The drops are both repetitive. By that I mean they were like, it's the same drop. Like, the drop itself isn't inherently bad. I don't think it's great, but I think it's alright. It's what the song needed. The vocal chops are cool. But the off drop is just so good. The build up is really good too. The build up kind of gives me Dreams vibes. I don't know if that's weird or not, but that's the vibe I've always gotten. I say always, like I've listened to this track for more than a couple days. But yeah, no, if you think of this as a pop song and not as a Rogue song, you're going to be a lot less disappointed than you otherwise would. I give this an 8 out of 10. Slight wiggle room upwards, slight wiggle room downwards. It'll probably be, you know, 12 or 13 or so on the compilation album it's on out of 31. I don't know how the compilation album's system's going to work, but that's probably about where you'd expect it to be on a normal album. It's pretty good. It's nothing incredible, but it's, you know, it's nice to listen to. I'm really excited to see what more Rogue brings in this sort of style. And that's all for the Redhawk recap. I guess I'm going with that. Number 1, I hope to do this for each week. I'm really excited to pull it through. I'm recording this on Tuesday, these last couple. And as far as this week, we've had so far Supersonic by Pegboard Nerds. We have Ocean Eyes by J Cosmic. We have On My Own by Lucas and Abel Hart. I have no idea what the Thursday release is. I guess we'll see, but look forward to that.